I'm always most grateful for because of my mother and my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and how much love they poured into me, and how much they taught me, and how much I learned from them, and how much love they gave me. So, you know, I've been, you know, it's a big holiday season on one hand. Just to give the church an update, I talked to the parole officer who's going to be coming to my house tomorrow to do a home visit, to write her pre-sentencing report. I met with, you know, went to visit my son this morning, and the first thing he asked me was, "Mama, did Pastor go to the doctor?" I said, "Well, son, the doctor ain't the issue, maybe the hospital." I said, "But he's better. You know, he's doing better. He's feeling better, and you know, he's showing up, suiting up as always. You know, we have a beautiful pastor. There's nothing that affects us or goes on with us that he doesn't experience too. There's nothing we go through, we experience, we hear about that has bearings on us that he doesn't have some kind of effect in his life." And so, you know, so I said, "Well, son, he's feeling better. He's feeling much better, and he's doing better." And I said, "So you just come on home. We'll get him to the doctor. You just hurry up and get home, and you'll see." So, but, you know, I'm encouraged. You know, I'm encouraged in spite of the jury coming back with a guilty verdict. I knew that we were up against it, and the reality is that a young black man in any kind of a courtroom in this country is in a bad situation. You know, OJ had a whole bunch of money and had some big old teams of lawyers, and it took all that for him to walk out of jail. But the reality is that we live in a nation that has that the ego of this nation allowed them to ease God out a long time ago. Ease God out long time ago. And the end result of easing God out, we know, real Christians, is suffering. Amen. And even though the people who ease God out are long gone, we know they ain't getting no sleep. You know, they ain't resting in their graves. Their spirits are tormented still. And that's what happens when you ease God out and you believe a lie so much that you spend your life trying to make it come true. And so, you know, but that's another story for another time. But, you know, the reality is that, and I've been thinking about this, I'm very grateful today because you guys have all heard the story. All my son's friends are dead, all of them. And the reality is that every time the police took him to jail, he was in a safe place for a little while. Now, I think it's tragic that a black man, any man, white man, black man, Chinese man, any young man is safer in jail than on the streets. I think the nation ought to be up in uproar. I think the nation ought to have a whole lot to say about that. And if the nation doesn't, I think we do as a people. I think that should be one of our biggest battles right now, one of our hardest tragedies. The way that our young people are presented a world that teaches them that they don't need to think they're going to make it to 21. You know, we can poll young people all across the nation. They'll tell you, "Well, I mean, I don't think about that because I probably ain't going to be here. You know, I ain't going to live that long." Well, that's tragic. That's very tragic. And so because we've seen a lot change, I don't think that it's a lost cause. Like, in fact, I know it's not a lost cause. I know with Christ, like Deacon said this morning, with Christ, anything is possible. Amen. Amen. We are equipped. We have the love, the grace, the power, and the mercy to love and care for our children, to keep them safe, to protect them, and to make sure that they have a future to look forward to. Some of us have to change some of our behaviors to get that done. We have to stop verbally abusing our children. We have to stop being emotionally cruel to our children. We have to stop doing things that are injurious towards our children. We're old enough to take responsibility for ourselves. You know, through these holidays and through many holidays, people get very depressed. You know, they get very depressed, they get very despondent. Suicide rates always soar during the holidays because of the misinformation and the lies people have been fed for years and years and years about the holidays, what they should have, what they should be doing, how they should look, who they should be with. All those lies have caused human beings many, many, many problems. The reality is, when we look in the mirror, we're perfect expressions of God's love. You know, humans is the first ones that, yeah, well, you know I ain't perfect. You know I ain't perfect. Well, I think that's a cop-out. I think every human being is a perfect expression of God's love. How else would we have gotten here if God hadn't decided to express himself through life by allowing us to come forth? So whether we're born with, you know, impairments, whether we're born not able to see, not able to talk, whether we're born with illnesses and complications, we're still a perfect expression of God's love.
That's right.
How beautiful is that? Life. How beautiful is life? And every life is valuable. Every life. Every person is valuable.
That's right.
Every person matters. Every person is important. Every person belongs. We all belong here. God's plan was that he could have just been all by himself. He's God. He didn't need our company. He's God. You know, he didn't need animals. He didn't need trees. He's complete.
God.
But God's kindness, grace, and mercy decided we would come and we would be a perfect expression of his love. And the earth would have everything that we needed to sustain ourselves and to continue to bring life forth. And it's our miseducation and our misinformation that has set us up in ways that if we're not careful, we miss out. We simply miss out. We don't learn how to respect ourselves. We don't learn how to love ourselves. We don't learn how to carry ourselves with pride and dignity. We learn how to be disrespectful. You got to learn that. We learn how to use drugs. We learn how to drink. We learn how to gamble. We learn how to be shopaholics. We don't come to the planet with that information. We have to learn those things. And so, to make a conscious decision to learn to love and to care automatically releases us from a whole lot of strife, a whole lot of misery, a whole lot of pain and agony. To love ourselves, to love each other, and to care for each other as Christ did the church. You know, men and women honoring themselves wholeheartedly, respectfully, is our only reason to be here. And anything other than that, we're wasting our time, really. We're misusing the journey. We're abusing the process. And so, you know, I've been moved by a lot of the things that are going on this week and over the last couple of weeks. The very hurtful things that I've seen, the very joyful things that I've seen. And what I know is my circumstance, I really got to be clear, it's just circumstance. God is the author and the finisher of my faith. And my circumstance simply is just to confirm that I'm still in the race. And that everything and all things need to be given to the Lord in prayer. I have come this far by faith. Thank you, Mother. I've come this far by faith. I have much further to go. Much further to go. I'm going to say this and I'm going to take my seat. Lady B, you was on my mind. Oh boy, I saw you in my dreams and just so much. But just to show you, so I'm getting ready to meet with the parole officer. My oldest daughter had a suspicious mammogram. She's been having suspicious mammograms for over a year now. Biopsies and everything. Well, last week, things were looking quite frightful. Quite frightful. Doctors were quite afraid. However, the last part of her exams, the last x-rays, the radiologist said, I told them all along, it's just a cyst. They didn't believe me. That's why, because the doctor